Boys and girls, this is Jericho Majors coming back to do a quick review of the episode Hyde, Doctor Who. Just gonna make this pretty quick, say the things I did and did not like. Starting off with the plot. I thought the plot was very interesting. At the beginning it started losing me slightly. It wasn't losing me entirely. It was just some of the lines of dialogue weren't striking me, kind of hitting me as interesting. So it lost me a little bit in the beginning, but then it kind of ramped up into like 3 different kinds of episode. It went like, the Doctor wearing the astronaut suit. I loved that aspect. I think that the 11th Doctor looks so strange in it because we're so used to seeing David Tennant in that suit. I'm tired. And him going from the edge, from the beginning of Earth to the end of Earth. So before everything ever happened on Earth and after everything had died. And that very much affected Clara. I mean, in each episode we're getting these really dramatic insights into Clara's character. I think they're setting her up very well for the 50th anniversary. Now, I wouldn't say very well. It's just they're really, really, really working hard on creating this solid, understood, emotional character that we can all not just sympathize with, but really see being a big part of something, which the name of the 50th anniversary, if you didn't know, is going to be called The Name of the Doctor. Which personally, I really don't think they're going to say what the Doctor's name actually is. I think that it's just going to be the name of the episode to kind of tease people to be excited. I really don't think they could pull that off. I mean, maybe they could. I really don't think they can. I think there's a 1 in 100,000 times shot. But, you know, they can do whatever they want. Anyways, sorry, back to the episode. So, I loved all of the characters. All of the characters were very interesting, like I said, Clara, but as well as the paranormal investigator who had had a history of saving people, but he had led some of his like scouts or troops to their death. You know, he'd accidentally killed them. And everyone in this episode has an end. But the thing about it is, it's being very realistic because all of the people that are involved in the situation by their own judgment are usually in it for some reason that they can get out of it. I mean, that's pretty realistic from a writer's point of view. And I really got invested whenever the acting, that's the second tier, or version, or whatever. The acting was great in this episode by everyone except Matt Smith, I think. Like, if I kind of got my hopes up with the last episode, like I said, or no, the episode before, in Rings of Akhaten, the Doctor's demeanor and attitude was amazing. I really enjoyed it. And I'm kind of hoping to see that again with that writer. I'll have to look up what other episode he's writing, but I know he is writing another one. The writing as well, like I said, is very good. Visuals, they're alright. The shots that were CG were almost obvious. They were pretty obvious that they were CG. Like the ghosts were pretty obviously CG, but they were believable enough. They didn't really detract too much from the story if you're used to those kinds of effects. If someone not really used to watching Doctor Who watches this episode, they'll be like, oh, that looks like crap. But, you know, like the help me on the wall is probably the worst of the special effects of this episode, I think. Whenever the Doctor walks up the stairs at the wall that says help me, and then it fades away, that was probably the worst. But, you know, I'm just kind of setting a ground for you to judge off of. I have to say, the creature, I very much enjoyed how the creature was hinted at. As usual in Doctor Who, it doesn't really show it fully. Shows it just enough for us to kind of get an idea, but the thing about it is, it usually does that with practical effects. Like practical effects, not seeing all of it, just kind of understanding the shape, color of it. And then, in the end, it's CG. It's this big, complex CG thing that they have in their heads, but they can only hint it through small parts of practical effects. Whereas in this episode, it was flipped. And the practical effects was this very lifelike and creepy, very eerie statue of this like half humanoid head attached to this very thick spinal neck. It's very, very kind of zombie. It's like Walking Dead mixed with H.R. Geiger, I guess, kind of in terms of what the creature would be laid out like, how it would be very organic, but it would be very disturbing and kind of striking visually. Things I didn't like about the episode: I didn't enjoy the opening line from Clara. Like I said, the only things that I didn't really enjoy out of this episode were certain parts of dialogue. The rest of the episode was alright, but there was just little bumps. Like I said, they didn't really make the episode horrible, just things I noticed. Clara's opening line, I'm sure, was very popular for most people, and I would expect people to really enjoy that line. Well, Ghostbusters reference is pretty. I'm hoping that you watched the episode before you saw this review, but she basically references Ghostbusters with her opening line by saying, "We're here to, with the Ghostbusters," and she kind of has the umbrella that acts like, it didn't just hit me, it didn't really bounce pretty well. And then a little bit of the dialogue between the doctor and the scientist, or the soldier, or whatever his name was. So overall, I give it an 8 out of 10. I would say that an 8.5 out of 10, because it was almost a 9. But with the CG, I think that they could have done it smarter. I think that they could have done it less, and it would be more scary. They tried to do a lot of the ghost flashing coming at them, almost like a weeping angel, which they should have just done, like, not show anything, and then see it on the film, see it on the piece of paper that they have up in the photography room, because it's 1970-something, and they still did that. That would have been a lot scarier, just like not see anything, it flash, and then later they pull it up and it shows that would freak me out. Writers got to be more smart about that if they're writing Doctor Who. Anyways, 8 out of 10. Really great episode. I loved all the characters, all the writing, except for little bumps. The next episode, I'm I know I say I'm very much looking forward to each episode, which I always am, but this one in particular, I hope I've expressed how interested I am in the avenues and other parts of the TARDIS. How the TARDIS is conceivably very, 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 very big, but we've only seen a little bit of it that it's connected to. He talks about a swimming pool, talks about a library, talks about an observatory in some instances. He talks about a tennis court. I think the 5th or 6th Doctor referenced tennis court a couple times. It's a very big place, and not just what I mentioned. It's just like, think of an entire apartment complex or an entire city. A lot of things that they could go into. And the next episode is centered around the center of the TARDIS, the heart of the TARDIS. No, not the heart of the TARDIS, but the center of the TARDIS, the machine. I'm very much looking forward to that. So, yeah, I'll do my review either Saturday or Sunday of next weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye.